Get smart, dummy. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. And we got AJ and Rudo coming to you on an off day for the Colorado Avalanche. We're 5 games into the season now, and while you do need to take statistics with a grain of salt, it is still small sample sizes, et cetera, et cetera. We're far enough in that you can at least start formulating thoughts on what we've seen out of the Colorado Avalanche. You might not have full backing. Don't set anything in stone. You obviously still have some ridiculous point paces and things like that. But you should have a feel for what the Colorado Avalanche are capable of this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten through the 5 games, it's been nice because we've seen the Avs play an array of quality of games.
Yep.
We saw the Utah game was like the C game. The Dallas game was the A+ game where they were awesome. Last night against Columbus was the A++ game. Like,
yeah,
you're not going to see very many of those this year. And then, we've kind of seen some in between in the other games. So they're 4-0-1. So like you're feeling really good about what you've seen as on the whole from how good they have been, because as we talk about every single regular season, the ability to win games when you're not playing at your best is what separates the top teams from the mid and lower tier teams. Yep. All of the teams in the NHL, when they play at their best, very capable of winning.
Yep.
And usually do. But the teams that can win when they're mediocre, those are the teams that finish high in the regular season.
Yeah. What percentage of games does any given team play their A game? Obviously, better teams are going to play better more often, but you really don't play your A game once every 3, 4, 5 games. It's not that often that your absolute best is on the ice fully.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're not talking about like, you have to play your A game 5 straight nights or whatever. Like that just doesn't happen. The league is too good. Other teams are too talented for you to be able to just pound everyone into submission like that. It just doesn't. It's not how the NHL operates.
So 5 games in, AJ, let's just ask you the big question. What's the biggest standout thing for Colorado?
That's really tough.
I know.
Because the top line has been elite.
Yep.
The depth has been really good. Your defense has been solid, and your goaltender has been elite.
Yep.
So
I'd say all
what's
accurate.
The standout thing?
Pick one.
Yeah, pick the thing that I guess the easiest thing to go is that your top line has not missed a beat with Martin Necas in there in place of Mikko Rantanen. And at 5v5, they're getting the job done, which is what they were not doing last year with McKinnon and Necas together.
I think that's a perfectly fair standout. And you look at that top line, and again, it's early. 2 point per game paces we talked about the other day. Maybe not a realistic expectation for them. Nate just did pick up another point though, so he's close still. But
yeah, and they're on ice scoring right now. It's 6-0. They will be on the ice for a goal against at some point, especially because they are Colorado's worst defensive line
by like a lot,
by a healthy margin. Yeah, by a healthy margin. So they will give up some goals, but right now the second line has been on the ice for seemingly all of the goals against, and some of those will stop, and they will go against the first line instead. So it was nice to see the second line actually get on the board themselves because they needed it.
I mean, let's talk about what it actually looks like with that top line, because we've already seen some adaptations on things like breakouts and break-ins for Colorado with less usage of Nathan MacKinnon, if anything, taking advantage of what Marty Necas can do, but also even activating the defense to be more aggressive with their legs on breakouts. Is this a wrinkle in the Avs game that is short-term? That once teams start defending it differently, will they fall back on the MacKinnon entry machine? Or is this something they're going to look to continue through the rest of the season?
No, I think they have what's tough about the Avalanche lineup is that you can't just put a blanket, this is how we're going to defend them on the Avs. Like a single game plan in place and say, okay, this is what we're doing, because with Necas and MacKinnon, they come in with so much speed through the neutral zone and they have possession. They don't play a lot of dump and chase because they don't need to. That backs a defense off and that attacks a defense in one way. That's really hard to do. But the rest of the Avalanche lineup doesn't play with that same kind of speed through the neutral zone. They do want to play more of a dump and chase and less of a raw possession game. And they want to get in on the forecheck and they want to attack the puck. So if you're game planning, if you're an opposing head coach or opposing coaching staff, how are you planning to stop it, Rudo? Like, what is your message to the team? Hang on against MacKinnon and here's our power. Here's our plan for the rest of the lines.
Yeah, cry a lot. That's my plan to stop it, to be honest. Cry
a lot is a fun answer. I love to cry a lot. It's healthy.
Just ask Alex Pietrangelo. When Nathan MacKinnon winds it up, you're not stopping him from getting into the zone. And the same is proven to be mostly true for Necas too. So between the two of them, that line is obviously it's never perfect. Things don't align all the time, but their ability to get in the zone has become borderline unstoppable. Truly,
and it's so different than what MacKinnon and Rantanen did together, because Rantanen doesn't have that kind of speed and he plays with more power than Necas.
Right.
That MacKinnon, we saw it all the time. MacKinnon would fly into the zone and then pull up and stop and sift through the transition defense and pick out, okay, which guy do we want? Which guy does he want to single out as this is the play that I'm going to make? Because nobody could keep up with him. But with Necas, it's different because Necas can't keep up with him, or is in the zone at the same time, or is the one with the puck. And so there isn't a lot of, I used to call it with MacKinnon, he defends himself really well because MacKinnon is at his best when his feet are moving. And when he stops moving, the opposing team is like, thank you. That does us a favor. It makes our job a little easier. It's not an easy job, but a little easier. And with Necas being able to keep up, they can't do that anymore because MacKinnon is coming into the zone with possession and he's attacking. And if he doesn't have the puck, then Necas is coming into the zone and he's attacking. He's also not just pulling up and looking for it. And so they're coming in with speed and they're maintaining that speed, which means that the defense has to maintain their speed, which means the defense has to maintain a gap against the best speed that the NHL has to offer. All of this is really hard to do. Transition defense is the hardest thing to do in the NHL defensively. To try and defend on the rush, and you have 3 seconds to figure it all out, to sift through all of the information and all the bodies. So it's so difficult, and they present a unique problem for opposing teams. And then they get off the ice, and then all the other ones come over the boards, and they just want to forecheck you and lay a body into you. And now you're like, okay, now we have a completely different problem to solve.
Well, and we've seen not just the first line, but you're talking about that first line entering with speed, forcing some defenses to back off on them. And through 5 games, the Avs have been extremely effective at penetrating deep into zones and playing that low to high game, because that extra man in on the rush is a Cale Makar or a Sam Malinsky or whatever it might be. And teams are heavily collapsing on the Avs in their own zone, where I've done 5 reviews so far, and I think in almost every game you can pick out a goal where the Avs had all 5 defenders below the hash marks. They work it out high, and the puck ends up in the back of the net off of either a nice passing play or a defenseman with space taking it and putting a puck on net.
Yeah.
It's just
they've always
good
been
hockey.
the Avs have always wanted to have their defensemen activate and get involved in the offense, but this year you throw Brent Burns into the lineup and he's playing 20 minutes a night instead of Josh Manson, and you have a guy with just a little bit more puck skill. And now Gerard is gone and Manson is back in there again. But with Malinsky, and the thing with Solovyov is that unlike Jack Johnson or a Keaton Middleton, they aren't giving up a ton of puck skill.
Yeah.
With that guy to enter into the lineup. This is not me trying to tell you that Ilya Solovyov is going to be a high-end puck mover or even an average puck mover, but it's not a major limitation of his game. He can make the simple play. He can keep an offense going. He can connect it. Yeah. And that, I mean, how much does that go to continuing the offense, that globetrottering that we can see in the offensive zone sometimes that the Avalanche like to do? So it's you look at all 6 of their defenders and they can all jump in. They can all join the offensive rush. They can play like the half court offense. It's really a good group in the offensive end. They move the puck really well and efficiently, and that's why. Cale Makar is obviously Cale Makar, but he's got 7 points through 5 games.
Yep.
Sam Malinsky's got 3. Josh Manson got 1 last night. Yep. Brent Burns has 3. Like, they are, they're good. They're solid.
It's well rounded, and I do want to talk about the defense a little bit more, but I want to stick with the forwards first here, because we saw that second line finally break out offensively last game. Put some pucks on the board. You saw, I don't think it's all that surprising to see how it develops. A bunch of big bodies, multiple tip plays end up with pucks in the back of the net. Brock Nelson finally gets one on the board. Landeskog picks up an assist, even if it is on an empty netter.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of a breath of relief that the dam broke for that second line? And can we expect them to... they're not going to score 3 goals every game, but can we expect the production to find a steady pace from here?
Yeah, and I think obviously when you score 3 goals in a game, like the production, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna go, okay, I mean, it's not great, but now Nichushkin is up to 3 points in 5 games. Nelson has 2, and now Landeskog only still has the 1. But you are looking at it like, okay, like you're moving forward in a good direction. You want them giving you points in 3 of 5 games, and not 2 of 5 games. But you are saying both games on this road trip that line scored a goal for you. Yep. It was just the first one was a
gift,
Rasmus Dahlin gift, and then last night they just beat down Columbus. I mean, beat them down.
Yep.
And it's a little bit of regression to the mean. Like they'd probably earned a goal or 2 more than they had actually scored.
More than 1 point through the first 3 games,
Yeah. So exactly. And this is how hockey goes, right? And this is why you and I harp on process so often.
Yep.
If you continue good process, if you play good hockey, you create chances, you'll get goals.
Yep.
And let's be real, that second line has not been dominant. Nope. It has not been overwhelmingly good. It has not. We're not talking like they were like so due. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Like they've created at 5v5, they've created 2.36 expected goals this year as a trio.
Yeah.
And after last night, they've scored 2.
That's what they have. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they have come right around to where they should be. So that it just, it's a solid line that you're not going to be able to rely on the kind of tip plays that they scored on last night, but it is an element to their game that the other lines don't really have much of. The get to the front and, win body positioning and be big and be strong and be mean. Like, none of the other lines really have an offering like that, and that line has 3 of them. So it's smart that the Avs coaching staff keeps getting Brent Burns out on the ice with them.
Yep.
Because he shoots for sticks all the time, and he's constantly trying to get them through traffic. And I think that combination, whatever the partner long term for Brent Burns ends up being, that combination is something that Bednar just needs to continue to spam. You have Taves and Makar out there with McKinnon. They turbocharge each other. Great. Just keep doing that. You keep putting Brent Burns out there with this second line, you're going to get good results. You're putting everybody in position to be successful.
100% agree with that. Do want to get more into it, but we need to take our first break of the show, as our sponsors today include Window Nation. October is here, so it's the return of chilly air seeping into your home. That is, if you have old, stuck, or cracked windows, a big problem. They are great. Sorry. Window Nation is fantastic because they bring you the new technology that Windows have. If you're like me, I live directly in the flight path, like directly in the flight path for DIA. So I need to make sure my windows are actually sealed so it's not ridiculously loud planes flying over all the time that I can hear. But also when it comes to weather and temperature, you want to make sure your house is sealed around its windows and all set up correctly. Window Nation has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They have a 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory and a 20-point inspection of every window when it's installed. So your new windows can be installed. You know it's going to be quality, and they get installed in 1 day or less. They have 45,000 5-star reviews, and they've installed over 3 million windows across the country, so they know what they're doing. Their windows even come with a lifetime warranty. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 free. Make no payments for the first 2 years, no monthly payments, no down payments, and no interest until 2027. So schedule a fast, free estimate now with the pros at windownation.com. Once you get your new windows, you're also going to probably want to pick up new sporting equipment or, new merch, whatever it might be. You can do that at Dick's Sporting Goods. They're one of our new big partners. We're super excited to have them on. You can go shop at Dicks.com, or you can go into any of the Dicks at the local Front Range and find a bunch of amazing apparel, including DNVR merch, now available at Dicks. But of course, you can also get top brands like Nike, Adidas Originals, FP Movement, VRST, Calia, and more. Plus, score the latest sports equipment for baseball, football, soccer, basketball, golf, and all your tailgating essentials. The best part is you find a lower price. Dick's guarantees their best price out there. They'll match it. So get your gear fast with free curbside pickup at your nearest store or easy shipping from Dicks.com, because every season starts at Dick's. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. AJ, I know you have some of the numbers here, which, by the way, shout out Hockey Viz. Micah McCurdy does great work. Highly recommend if you're going to get a paid advanced statistics service. It's one of the best out there. So go check that one out. But we can take a look at the Avs' actual metrics through the first 5 games of the season here. I just bring one of them up, Tiff. It doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, there you go. There's the shot rates by score.
Made me laugh.
Yeah,
this one made me laugh.
Pretty good.
They obviously have not been down by 2 goals, which means they haven't been down by 3 or more. So those are just completely empty.
Yep.
Those are great, right? But I think you look at every single one of them other than up by 1, and you're like, oh, okay. Up by 3 or more, that's a limited amount of time, so you're kind of just whatever.
Also, you're up by 3.
Exactly. Like, it's always going to kind of look like that, where the other team just starts to cave you. I mean, these are extreme.
Yep.
Because it's early in the season and really, really small samples, but this is a really good start. You look at the way that they played, tied.
Yep. It's dominant.
And we picked the right day to do this.
Sure.
Because the morning after an absolutely statistical, monstrous performance against Columbus is going to heavily skew some of this, so it's going to look better than it actually is through the first 4 games. So that's an important thing to note here, but still, the results are the results, right? And we're talking about the first 5 games. These are the results of the first 5 games.
Yeah.
At 5v5 tied in a tied score state, they're great.
Yep.
Up by 1, they're still not bad. You look at the way that they protect the net as the major difference between this year and last year. It used to be like a lot of the D zone was blue, and then right around the net was going to be a bunch of red. And instead, it's like a little bit instead of it being all of it. So progress, you'll take progress. But what you see here is that offensively, they pour on shot attempts. They have the puck a lot. And just like last year, their scoring chances, their high danger chances are not as high as you would like for them to be. They don't generate those grade A's as often as you'd want, but their volume is really good, and they do still generate some of them. And they've got some really good finishing talent. All of that adds up to that's a really dangerous offensive team. And defensively, you have to feel much better about this group right now than the one that ended last year's season.
By a good margin. And that's not necessarily just your decor, but defense as a team this year has been markedly improved, especially, I've said it a couple of times, but through the middle of the ice, the Avs have been so much better than they were for long stretches of last year. Also, being the down one defense is hilarious that they give up virtually nothing when they're trailing in games, but
yeah,
it's good hockey.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good hockey. That down one, they're like, nah, this isn't lasting long.
Yeah.
They just have not trailed very long this season. So those numbers are comical, right?
Yeah.
But
again, take it with salt.
You are, it's 5 games. If you try to isolate any of these out of 5 games, whatever. We probably won't talk about very many 5-game segments throughout the course of the season, but because these are the first 5 games of the year, it's what we have.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know how the team is 4-0-1. They've given up 1 goal in 4 of the 5 games. Some of that is Wedgewood, some of that is the defense. That's a symbiotic relationship, and not the parasitic one that we saw last year. So the team's really good, and I want to stress that positivity.
There's not a lot to be negative about, honestly.
Yeah.
There really isn't. So,
Tiff, can we bring up the 5v5 offense defense ones as well? Because we'll just
go right
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, so these numbers for the audio listeners, this is going to be tough, but offensively, the 5v5 numbers for Colorado are plus 28%. That plus 28% is relative to league average, not
their own statistics.
I don't know what else that would be. Yeah. It's relative to league average. So their offense is 28% better than in terms of generation of offense than a league average offense. Their defense is 14% better at offense suppression than a league average team. Those are both really, really, really good numbers, and like small samples again, because those are not going to stick. Those numbers, like across a season, the best teams are like plus 8%, like minus 8%, like those types of numbers, right? But like 28% through 5 games is crazy. And like you look at where all the shots are coming from, it's all the middle of the ice, and then Cale Makar.
That's what I'm more focused on than the actual numbers here. When you look at the process of the Avs, and to describe the chart a little bit for the listeners, there is a clear effort by the Colorado Avalanche to play between the hashes, from the blue line in, honestly, from the top of the zone all the way to the top of the crease. The Avs are focusing their shots through the middle of the ice. And, you know, I know statistically maybe the high danger chances aren't the most for Colorado this year, but I really think they've generated a good amount. Now, we've seen a good number of those get stonewalled by Ottinger, and the first half of last night's game, Merzlikins made a couple of fantastic saves, so maybe they're not scoring on them quite at the rate that they would like to be, but I really haven't had a problem with their generation, and the shape of that chart backs it up.
No, and I mean, if you go through their games, the opening night was sluggish.
Yes.
Opening night is always sluggish.
True.
and then they had the home opener against Utah.
Also sluggish.
Utah, for whatever reason, Utah just like has their number.
Yep.
Right? Like, even when they were Arizona and they didn't have any good players and it was just bum central down there, like it was just one of those teams for the Avalanche that they play against, and it's just like really, really frustrating. But even then, you look at their scoring chances, their high danger chances in each of the last 3 games have been really good at 5v5. they create opportunities, and they create a lot more scoring chances than they do high danger chances. But the high danger chances that they create are competitive. They play. It's not like there's not a dearth of them. It's not a team that struggles to generate offense. So and then the shot attempts, and shots on goal, those are both really good as well. But it's really the scoring chances, and like poor Columbus.
Yeah.
They really got it laid on them.
It was rough. Those first two periods, they got cooked.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real bad. And had the Avs not just completely geared it down into chill mode in the final 5 minutes of regulation, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. But this is such an encouraging team at 5v5 so far, that you're looking top to bottom. This is all really, really good. Like, this is not Nathan MacKinnon in the middle of the ice creating these offensive numbers. That's the whole team. And for the audio listeners, you can't see it. You can't see it, but that's a stab wound.
Yeah. That dude is bleeding out. That dude is bleeding out.
Actively pouring out blood. This is a gross way to put this. I regret this. But that is a stab wound. Like, it's dark red. This is where all of their offense is coming from. And then Cale Makar at the right point. I don't know who in the world is shooting from over there on the left side wall, but I'm keeping an eye out on you. I'm going to go back. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out who's doing this. It's probably Victor Olofsson. It's probably Ross Colton. Sorry.
Yeah, Ron Colton would be on the left.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's really encouraging on the offense. That's great, right? But on defense, the middle of the ice is where the Avalanche they were hemorrhaging chances last year. They could not put a stop to it all year long. They tried. They got a defensive defenseman in Ryan Lindgren. It turns out he sucked. That did not help. They get Brent Burns. It's funny because Brent Burns' individual numbers have not been great. But you look at the pairings that he's been on, they're doing, in preventing the high danger chances. Yeah. They're doing a good job. They're doing a good job on the whole defensively, erasing the middle of the ice. And I am curious. We talked about this after they hired Dave Haxtell. Yeah. Dave Haxtell is supposed to be running the power play, and we're getting there.
He's a defensive guy historically.
He's a defensive guy. Like, you wonder, has Dave Haxtell had a little bit of input on some tweaks here, on some different things, because they are defending a little bit better in the middle of the ice. You mentioned it earlier. Some of this is going to be forwards. Jack Drury is playing more. He's in the middle of the ice. He's a really good and smart defensive forward. He's there. Gabe Landeskog is there. Val Nichushkin, Arturi Lehkonen. Those guys are there in your lineup so far on a consistent basis, playing 2/3 of your game.
Gabe Landeskog was a little
with the top six.
Too concerned about covering the middle of the ice last night, and that's the one goal that they got scored on them. So.
Yeah, you really just needed to step out. It was it was pretty funny to watch it back, where you were like, this is all of this is meant. Nichushkin can't make that play with the puck, first of all.
Yeah, the miss by Manson and the throwaway by Nichushkin is what really led to. But it is funny, Landy going to the middle of the ice and being like, oh, I'm on a line with Val Nichushkin, not Nathan MacKinnon anymore. Someone actually covers this on this line. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that we're talking about the depth is so much better. I want their. I want to get into like the bottom six being so much better.
Yeah.
In particular, right now their fourth line is like a mess in terms of its personnel.
Kelly's playing center. Yeah.
Exactly. Parker Kelly, we would agree, should not be a fourth line center. He's kind of there out of need right now because Gavin Brindley just sort of ruined Colorado's plans. Like,
said, I'm not giving up this job. Yeah.
Exactly. He just outplayed everybody, and he refuses to have a bad enough game that the coaching staff goes, all right, here's our excuse. So that's been fine. Yoel Kiviranta continues to be who he is. He's a really good defensive player that sucks with the puck on his stick.
Yep.
It's just who he is, right? But you look, that line has only given up, in 28 minutes at 5v5, they've given up 12 scoring chances and 2 high danger chances.
It's nothing.
2. In 28 and a half minutes, they've given up 2 high danger chances. That's your fourth line. That's defense first. You're not necessarily trying to score with that line. You're trying to keep them from scoring. Yep. And you've played 3 road games. 3 road games.
3. The LA opening night and these last 2.
Yeah. They've played 3 road games, which means that they're not getting to choose the matchups for their fourth line as often. They are living with some of this, right?
Yep.
And they are losing in shot attempts. Your fourth line is losing in shot attempts, but actual shots on goal is 10-6.
Well,
and
again,
your scoring chances are even, and the high danger chances are a 4-2 advantage.
Right.
So they're giving up some stuff on the outside, but they're doing a great job eliminating the scary stuff. And a fourth line's job, first and foremost, do not get scored on. Yep. 5 games in 28 and a half minutes, they've given up 0 goals. That's exactly what you're after. It's exactly what you're after.
Yeah, it's perfect stuff. From the way I always put it is, all your fourth line needs to do is not lose you the game, and they're fully accomplishing that. You have multiple guys who have been great on the Avs penalty kill on that line. Brindley has their only goal. The math adds up well, and then you get to talk about their third line, where we've seen high quality play as well. Now, I do start to wonder, we're 5 games in, Ross Colton has a single goal, Jack Drury has a single assist. But my goodness, has Victor Olofsson not slotted in fantastically on this hockey team?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of numbers that we really should get into on that line, on why it's going to be good.
Before we get into those numbers, let's take our second break of the show. It'll be good. If you want to make yourself a couple extra numbers on the money side, get over to Bet365. And yes, obviously you can win some bets, but you can set yourself up with $200 in bonus bets when you sign up with a new account and use code DNVR365. Make sure you put $10 in the account and then bet $5 on anything. You don't have to win the first bet. Win or lose on that $5 bet, you get $200 in bonus bets to play with. Those are essentially free money. You hit your bets, great. You've got money. You can take it out. You can be up. That easy. You don't hit your bets, it was free money anyway. So who cares? Have a little bit of fun with it. Make sure you're getting over to Bet365. Download the app today. You can use that QR code on screen to get those $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose with the DNVR365 code. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. When you do gamble with Bet365, make sure you're 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Once you got some bets with Bet365, maybe you want to actually go to the game you're betting on, and that's where Game Time comes in. You can get with Game Time today and join over 15 million people that use Game Time to get their tickets. And when you sign up with code DNVR, you get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Of course, terms apply there, but Game Time has tons of different ways for you to save money when buying tickets, whether it's their last-minute ticket deals, their section selector, or you can just use their Game Time Picks feature, where you search for whatever tickets you want, and Game Time only shows you the best tickets for the best price. They guarantee you'll get the best tickets. That means that if you find tickets cheaper somewhere else, they'll reimburse your account 110% of the ticket price. So get with Game Time today. It's not just sports either. You can go to concerts, theaters, and more with Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that app. Use code DNVR for that $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account with the DNVR code. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. AJ, is the third line the biggest surprise, or are they just living up to expectation by being as good as they've been?
In no way. I'm sorry, but who out there would have had this as their expectation?
Not me.
For that third line. I mean, I know that the people who are like, I am only positive and I've never said a negative word about the Avalanche in my entire life are going to be the ones who are like, I did. But I mean, of course they did. But beyond them, the ones who live on planet Earth, I mean, this has been so good.
So good.
Ross Colton is a forechecking demon on that line, right? And I said that I thought Jack Drury was well positioned to be like the connective tissue to 2 shooters. They don't score nearly enough, but so far this looks awesome, and Victor Olofsson looks really good.
Their puck movement has been amazing. If Jack Drury had more name value, he'd be in the Selke conversation 5 games into this season. His defense has been genuinely elite.
They are their numbers to start this year. I am going to find them, I swear. Okay. Their numbers to start the year. 34 minutes and 40 seconds at 5v5. All right. They're at 64% shot attempts. They
Pretty
are
good.
at 69% shots on goal.
Stupid good.
They are at 69% scoring chances and 70% high danger chances.
Outrageous. How much better can you actually play? Like,
it is important for me to note they have created the same number of high danger chances as the Brock Nelson line. Is that an indictment of the Brock Nelson line, or is that a boon for the the Jack Drury line? I don't know. That is entirely up to you to decide that one.
Sure.
Either way, for your second and third line to be producing that many high danger chances, like, that's a really hard thing to defend. And it's important context that line has had to play some top 6 matchups.
Yep.
They've had to go against some dudes. This is not them feasting on bad bottom 6s. They have gotten to beat up on. It's been mostly second lines, not top lines, because the Avs like to go best on best. But they have gotten to beat up on some second lines, and they've done that.
Yeah.
Like, they went a lot of minutes last night in Columbus against the heavy line that the Blue Jackets want to throw out there. I think it's Jenner, Coyle, and Matthew Olivier.
Mm-hmm.
And embarrassed them.
Handled.
Embarrassed. It was like 17-1 in shot attempts in that matchup. Yeah. And I'm not even exaggerating. It was embarrassing. So that line has deserved a better fate. Goals are 1-1 right now.
Yeah. Which is, it's a bit silly, but is the case.
Yeah, they've given up 5 high danger chances and 1 of them went in. That's the only goal that they've given up as a trio. You look at all 3 of those guys, all of them have played well. And Victor Olofsson, for me, has been the one major surprise because it's been all of his play. It's not just, he has 0 goals in 5 games. He has 0 goals. We talked about him all summer. Oh, what a shooter. Oh, he's such a great goal scorer. You guys are going to love this part of his game. Has not handled it. Hasn't done any of it.
Yep.
But he has 3 assists. All of them have been well earned.
Yep.
All of them have been smart. And he was going so well offensively last night that the Avs can't try and goof the offense a little bit.
You're lagging a little bit. The point AJ is making there, though, is when you take a look at Olofsson, even if you look at the offense as expected, even if it is coming as high quality assists and not goals, his fully well-rounded play has been great. He's been solid in the defensive zone. He's been good at getting entries for you. He's been good enough that he even has moved up and down the lineup for you. He immediately becomes this flexible spot for you that you can give him a shift on the top line. You can give him a shift on the second line. And not only does it look good, it's producing. He has assist on the third line, guys. He has an assist with your fourth line in Brindley, and he has an assist on your second line as well that he picked up the other night, as it looks like AJ is back, ?
We'll see, man. The whole thing is just like collapsed. And yeah, my Wi-Fi it's terrible in this house. You don't even know.
Did you want to run down Olofsson's numbers? You kind of broke up at that point.
No, just that he's got the 3 assists. I think you covered it.
Yeah.
He's got an assist on 3 different lines. And he's kind of been an ace in the hole for the coaching staff to use when they're trying to pump a little extra offense into a line, try and steal a shift where he's skating well. We saw him go out there with the top line really quick. We saw him on the second line at the end of the second period that turned into a goal. So that, to have that kind of weapon sitting in your lineup, we hoped that he would kind of do the Andre Burakovsky role from the 22 team.
Yep.
And it's 5 games. Like, let's be real. It's 5 games. But so far, he's nailing that job.
Is it not a little surprising that they immediately trusted him with that versatile up and down the lineup spot over someone like a Colton, who they've done with that in the past?
Yeah, but I also think that given preseason comments that there's something going on between Colton and Bednar that's not great.
Yeah, sure.
So,
okay, leave it at that.
I'm a little on edge about that relationship, but we'll keep an eye on it moving forward. At the moment, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
but like, I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Sure. All right, let's move a little bit more into the defense here. Cale Makar is Cale Makar. He looks amazing, especially these last couple of games. His game is ramped up. He's awesome. Devon Toews, no points through the first 5 games of the season. I don't know that I'm particularly worried about that, but, you know, I would like to see Devon Toews get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, if Elvis Merzlikins doesn't make an amazing save last night, he's on the score sheet in the first period.
Yeah, but it didn't go in, so I mean, at a certain point,
yeah. I mean, that's just where Taves is right now.
Yeah.
It didn't go in,
and I can live with it because of the quality of the defense and all of that. It's not something that I'm all that worried about. But you get into the bottom 4 of this defense, and there might be some hard decisions coming down the line, if only because you move Sam Malinsky back to the right side mostly-ish in these last couple of games, and look at how good he's been. It's hard for me to say, oh, well, Gerard's going to come back and I want to go away from this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gerard being week to week means we probably have time.
That is true.
Before we have to worry about it. And Malinsky's going to get plenty of opportunity to show that he can play. Solovyov is going to get an opportunity to show that he belongs. You know how it is, man. Like,
yep.
If Gerard was coming back right away,
yeah.
In this case, we're going to see plenty. Malinsky's going to have plenty of opportunity.
So how do you want to shake out that defense going forward then? Malinsky and Solovyov would put Malinsky on the right, but then you're also running this Burns and Manson pairing that exists. And not that they've been bad by any stretch, but it does feel a little bit awkward, right? Well, all right.
It's pretty bad, but the other pairings are rocking. Manson Burns so bad though, like just relative to the team.
Sure. Even on paper, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
That's not really a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really isn't a huge shock that Josh Manson trying to figure out how to play the left side at age 33 is not going swimmingly right away.
Yeah. So it is what it is there. And again, I don't have a significant problem with the Avs defense as a team. They played fine. Their defense is producing. There's not a ton to really dig into. You're like, oh, this is terrible and it absolutely needs to be cleaned up. But that defense does need to solidify over the next 10 to 15 games without Gerard, and then you'll have decisions once Gerard comes back to make.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever Gerard is back, then we'll have that information.
Yep.
I think that this defense is just in such a wait-and-see mode.
Yep.
You know? Like, we just really don't know. Because the most likely I don't want to say likely. The thing that makes the most sense is that Sam Malinsky plays really well, and a team decides they need a 27-year-old puck-moving right-shot defenseman on their defense, and they're willing to give up a left-shot defenseman because they have an extra one.
Sure.
And the Avs get a guy that maybe they is under control for a year or two, or like it. I just think that it makes the most sense for it to be that way, because even if next year Brent Burns is not around, Josh Manson we know will be. Sam Malinsky isn't a second pairing guy. He's not a second pairing caliber guy. So you're still talking about your third pairing being the same thing. So you're just having a different conversation.
Yeah.
Like
Malinsky heading into UFA does complicate things as well. It's not.
Yeah. The only way to solve this in a way that makes sense to me is a Malinsky deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me having an enthusiasm to move on from him. It's just how the Avs roster has ended up being constructed. He's expendable.
Yeah.
They don't need the puck moving as much. They aren't as desperate. He doesn't even have a job on a power play. He's not going to have a job on a power play. Like 3 guys need to get hurt before he gets to that.
Yep.
So, like it's not that his skill set is wasted. It's just that there's
only so many minutes and there's only so many pucks on the ice, man. It's just...
Yeah. It's just redundant. And I would be in the market looking to try and figure something out with Sam Malinsky. Like, I love the player. He's got juice.
Yep.
If you listen to the PDO cast that I did with Dmitry Filipovich this morning, we talk about this. He's got juice. He's a fun player. But how does he fit long-term in Colorado? And I just don't know that he does.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair statement. The best option may well be running out the season with him, but I do think it will be tough to keep him beyond this year regardless. So, and
he is really good injury insurance for Josh Manson in particular, a guy that we know has the injury history he does.
Yep.
Like,
just the reality.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to be like, the Avs shouldn't be in a hurry to move on from him, and they should only do it in the right situation.
Yep.
It's not we should just get rid of him and get anything that we need. What are the Avs going to do? Move him for a 3rd round pick? Like, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah. What are they doing with that? Yeah.
Right. And now, if it's a 2nd round pick, I'm listening, because you can get a pretty good player for a 2nd round pick, and the Avs already have 2 future 2nd round picks that we know they're going to try and move.
Okay. I do want to move on to special teams a little bit here. And PK's been really good. I think very few complaints on that side of things.
What are your thoughts on the PK? I mean, you say very few complaints, but I am curious the process of it. How do you feel? Because I know we're going to pull up this graph. It's up. We're looking at it. It's fantastic. But how do you actually feel about the process?
On the PK?
Yes.
I have not minded it. I think it's 2 important things. One, I think they've been more aggressive on a simplified PK this year. Over the last couple of years, we've seen this penalty kill go in waves where it's pretty good and they keep adding pieces until it just absolutely collapses on itself, whether that's because it gets too complicated or they just hit a poor streak or whatever it is. Then they simplify it again and it gets good again. Particularly when they have those aggressive forwards, shout out Colfax, when they have those aggressive forwards challenging at the point, they're making teams beat them. And maybe some of that conversation this year is a number of the teams they've played aren't going to be at the top of the league when it comes to their offensive ability, and they haven't been able to beat the Avs. But it's worked. So I don't have a complaint there. And then the more important thing is, if you're watching on YouTube, you see the big splotch of purple-blue right in the net front area. The Avs have done a much better job at not giving up that top of the crease seam that it felt like they gave up every power play last year.
Yeah, that's the biggest change from last season, is that their net front D, 5v5 and on the penalty kill, so much better.
Yeah.
But I don't love the process as much on the penalty kill. They still seed the middle of the ice more often than I would like. It's just no longer 2 feet away from their goalie. It's more like 8.
Yeah, sure.
I don't love that. They've taken away a lot of the Royal Road passing plays that were killing them last year.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Though I think that how easily they give up the blue line still frustrates me. But I like that when they're in zone, they've played a lot more aggressively and forced teams to make plays with the puck. And you look at it's been a solid penalty kill that is going to get Logan O'Connor back at some point.
Yeah.
You have to feel pretty good about that.
It's going to help.
I think this is a good penalty kill that could be an elite penalty kill at some point.
Sure.
But I think it's still going to be a work in progress, and they're going to have to get into it. The other side of this is obviously bad.
Yeah. First off, it's a penalty kill. You can't defend everything, and with the way Wedgewood's playing, you're going to give up something, and Wedgewood is doing the job for the most part. So, fine.
Yeah.
Power play. Obviously, the chart there doesn't look great. Not a ton of slot area penetration for the Colorado Avalanche. But
is there any? There's no speck of orange.
Yeah, none. But as we've talked about through the first 10 days of the season here, their movement looks good. I don't hate the way, especially that top unit is playing. I'm content to say that I think the goals will come there.
I think my number one problem with the power play continues to not be a coaching problem.
Sure.
And it continues to be a player problem because their overall sense of urgency drives me insane. They look way too calm with the puck.
Yeah, you start to get the sense of, okay, they need to get a shot on goal, and then they pass it around for 20 more seconds before they finally shoot the thing.
Yeah.
Just,
and I agree with you. I've liked a lot of their movement. I like their zone entries a lot more for the first unit. The second unit still doesn't seem like it's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love Lecky on that top unit. I don't love Brock Nelson's usage on that top unit.
Yeah.
It's almost like you look at that chart for the Avs power play and you're kind of looking at it saying, by design, that's what it looks like. Because they want between Natchez and McKinnon, they want the righty on the left side shooting or passing from over there. They want Cale Makar shooting from up top, and then they want Brock Nelson on the half wall on the other side. Like that kind of looks like what they want it to be.
It does.
I think that's a concern. Last year, McKinnon was so obsessed with that little pass into the middle of the ice.
Yeah.
That bumper play that teams, and it worked really well to start the year, especially with Colton. And then as the year went on, it didn't. Because teams they scouted it and said, okay, take that away. And now this year, they're not even trying it. McKinnon's not even trying to make that play anymore.
And to be fair, McKinnon is doing a lot of different things, a lot more movement, a lot more in behind the net, because swinging from side to side. There's a lot more going on there, but it does still feel like the Brock Nelson spot. Nelson just hasn't been a threat from there, whether it be lack of quality shots or he doesn't have that willingness to try and make the crazy seam pass through it. If it goes to Brock, far too often it's just a volleyball pass right back to Cale up high or down to McKinnon down low that doesn't really create much. I agree with you though.
Yeah, you look at him, you look at the unit last year, and they had Mikko Rantanen who could do a little bit of everything at a really high level.
Yep.
Then they have Jonathan Duran, who is an elite passer and a really good power play player. Really smart, great vision. Could break down a PK with a quick touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brock Nelson does none of that.
Yeah.
If Brock Nelson's going to be on your power play unit, he needs to be in the middle of the ice on the bumper spot.
Yep.
Let him do that.
Be there, shoot the puck. That's simple.
And have Victor Olofsson in that spot. Like, what are we doing here? And I understand, okay, you want Lehkonen on the ice because he's an elite puck retriever and he's really good in for the net. Fine. That's fine. That's justifiable. But what they're doing with Nelson is just...
Yeah, it's not accomplishing a lot. And even the Lehkonen thing, you look at the 3 power play goals the Avs have scored this year. One of them is literally Landeskog driving the net to create space for McKinnon. You don't have to giga-brain figuring out trying that one. You could also try Nichushkin too, but...
This isn't meant to be like an offensive question, but is Artturi Lehkonen on the top power play unit because Nathan McKinnon is actually the power play coach and he demands it? Is that
it's as good a reason
here?
As any?
Frankly, I hope that that's true because that at least makes more sense to me than we're going to consistently misuse Brock Nelson.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Artturi Lehkonen, awesome hockey player, has been a fixer for the Avs for the last couple of years, but there is a pretty distinct step down with his finishing ability when you're talking about a power play unit, when you're talking about someone in front, especially compared to other options that they have. Even if you don't trust Landeskog, Nichushkin has more puck skill when it comes to finishing those plays in and around the net and creating those types of things. Not that Lehkonen isn't great, but go through this season. Already this season, Lecky's got a couple of goals. He could have 5 if he was a 5% better finisher.
3% better finisher.
Sure.
I mean, this is the thing with Artturi Lehkonen is that he has absolutely maximized his skill set.
Yep.
And that is admirable, and the guy rocks. This is not me trying to denigrate him other than to say Brock Nelson, Val Nichushkin, Victor Olofsson, those are all more, Gabe Landeskog, those are all more naturally gifted goal scorers than Artturi Lehkonen is. That doesn't feel like a slight.
Puck retrieval's great, but you'd much rather have the other team retrieving the puck out of their own net.
Exactly.
So.
Can't say it better than that.
The last thing I did want to touch on, and there isn't like a ton of conversation here, but 5 games in, Scott Wedgewood, there's an 80% chance a game he plays in, he only gives up a single goal. So
yeah,
definitely has been a boon for the Colorado Avalanche. Has made their life easy.
He's 12-0-2 in his last 14 starts going back to March.
Pretty good.
All right.
Kind of silly, but
we're not really having he's the number 1 when Blackwood comes back, right? Like, I think he's played so well that they can ease Blackwood into it a little bit. They don't need to just be like, all right, Blackwood's back. Scott Wedgewood, we won't see you for 2 weeks now or whatever, right? Like, I don't think we need to get into that, but
yeah. Ask Bailey
when Blackwood in, but like
when we have both of you on, Bailey can fight that battle. For me, Blackwood's still the starter.
I think so too. First of all, he's the guy signed. He's the guy that you are like trying to plan for the future around. Wedgewood's not. Wedgewood probably isn't even an Av next season just because what you've got going on with Ilya Nabokov coming over at the end of the year. Like, it sucks because it's like, what more could you possibly ask from Scott Wedgewood? And if Blackwood's injury was more longer term and he was doing this for 40 games, I think that would change my view on it a little bit.
For sure. But it's been 5 games.
Yeah. Yep.
So, still, definitely something to note. If nothing else, supreme trust in your backup for the Colorado Avalanche this season with someone like Wedgewood.
Yeah.
Proving that he can hold down the fort and look great doing it. So,
I think some of it is just that the Avs have had so many poor backups outside of Pavel Francouz.
Yeah, true.
That it's like, the grass is always greener conversation is always really loud around backup goalies when they play well.
Everybody's favorite player is the backup, baby.
Yep.
That's true of every sport. Look, again, it's early. We're reading into statistics because that's what we have. But the Avs have another stretch of games coming up where, at worst, they got to win 3 out of 5 of those games. And realistically, you're probably looking for 4, right, AJ?
Yeah, you definitely want both Boston games. Utah's always going to be a slog.
Yeah.
And then Carolina's a big test. They look awesome to start the year.
Really
and
good,
then not pictured because it's the 11th game of the season is New Jersey. They have the home and home with New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how they do. It's going to be a really good test. Because it's Carolina, then they go to Boston on the front end of the back-to-back. Then they have New Jersey the next day.
Yep.
Then they have New Jersey at home, and then I think they play Vegas after that at home. I think
you're right.
Well.
Yeah.
At Vegas, I'm not sure if it's home or away, but they've got Vegas coming up right after that. So this next stretch of 10 games is going to be a really fun ride. But to finish out that graphic, those 5 games, I want 3 wins because that gets you to 7. Out of the first 10, we talked about that being like that's your baseline of you need to be really good.
Yep.
You get an 8th win, and you're in great position.
Yeah.
And if you just don't lose, that's even better.
Just don't lose. We are headed into overtime here. The conversation continues online at thednvr.com. Right now, the Avs are playing .900 hockey. Obviously, that's not going to maintain the season. You don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. But they remain one of 4 unbeaten teams in regulation in the NHL. They are de facto leading the Central and the West, which some of that is games played. But with Dallas's loss the other night, no one has a line to have more points than the Avalanche with an even total of games this season. And Colorado has set themselves up as good as you could reasonably ask for with the way this season has started. Now, that's still only about 5% of the season. So you don't get to have a quick start, slack off, and not care anymore. But the Avs have set themselves up in a way that obviously last year was a horrible start, but even over the last handful of years, it feels like the Avs haven't done a good enough job of putting themselves in a position to front run. And this year they have.
Yeah. They've been chasing pretty much since the seasons began.
Yep.
Now they're not.
It's nice. It's nice feeling. That's all.
Yeah. It makes life a lot easier on yourself when you've got goals. So
I'll
literal
leave it
and
at
figurative
that.
goals.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on these first 5 games, AJ, before we get out of here?
Not on the first 5 games. I didn't think that my Ross Colton, Jared Bednar comment was going to be that controversial, but Toyota Chat has kind of latched onto it. Just go listen to what he said about it at Media Day, because that's what I'm referring to, where Bednar had talked about Colton has thoughts on it, and he has thoughts on it, and they've talked about it. That's not a normal thing for a head coach to say. So that made my ears perk up a little bit, and I'm just curious about how that relationship is, especially when you see Colton. I think Colton really liked his top 6 job last year, and now he's playing like 11 minutes a night again, and he doesn't.
Sure.
He can't love that. So that's just what I'm saying is like I think that's something to just keep an eye on.
Well, go outplay Arturi Lehkonen, and you can be back in the top 6.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. And be Nathan McKinnon's favorite person on earth.
Yeah, well, there's a second. All right, I'll play Gabe Landeskog then.
Great.
Much easier. Much easier.
At the moment, he's not even outplaying Victor Olofsson. So
yeah, well, Victor Olofsson might be outplaying Gabe Landeskog so far this season. So
yeah, I mentioned that in Studs and Duds today. That you could argue swapping them.
There's a conversation there. One we'll continue to have. We are going to wrap up for today, though. Game day tomorrow. You know where to find us. Pre-game, watch along, post-game. We'll be here covering it all for you. If you haven't, go check out AJ's Studs and Duds from last game. Go become a diehard if that's your thing. Great way to support us and get access to all of our amazing content. You also get a bunch of perks, free shirt, discounts here at the bar, other stuff as well. So that's all I got. We're out of here. We appreciate you. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by Bet365, and we will see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.